Welcome back, Royal Watchers, to Royal Chronicles, the channel where history, elegance, and everything crown-worthy comes to life. If you are new here, we are so glad you found us. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you never miss a single royal moment. Trust us, you do not want to miss what we have for you today. Now, before we dive in, I need you to stay with me until the very end of this video. Because the final photo we are going to reveal, it stopped the entire internet. We are talking about a single image that captured something so unexpectedly raw, so genuinely human, that even lifelong royal skeptics were moved. You'll want to see it for yourself. But first, let's set the stage. Imagine this: two of the most recognizable figures on the planet, stepping off a plane onto American soil, not as distant symbols of a fading empire, but as warm, witty, surprisingly relatable people who charmed an entire nation in just a matter of days. King Charles III and Queen Camilla's royal tour of the United States was not just a diplomatic visit. It was a moment, a cultural event, a love story between a king and his queen, yes, but also between the British monarchy and the American people. And the photos, they told a story words simply cannot. The tour began with the kind of fanfare that only America knows how to deliver. As Air Force One equivalent touched down, the official RAF aircraft carrying the royal couple, crowds had already gathered, phones raised, hearts racing. The first photograph that went viral was deceptively simple: King Charles descending the aircraft steps, pausing mid-stride, hand raised in a gentle wave, the late afternoon sun catching the medals on his chest. Behind him, Queen Camilla, radiant in a champagne-colored coat, smiled with what can only be described as genuine joy. Not a rehearsed smile. Not a performative gesture. Real joy. That image alone told us everything about how this tour would unfold. Throughout the tour, photographers captured moments that ranged from deeply moving to delightfully unexpected. There was the photograph of King Charles crouching down to speak eye to eye with a young child holding a hand-painted Union Jack, his expression so tender, so unhurried, that you almost forgot you were looking at a king. There was Queen Camilla, laughing genuinely, uncontrollably laughing during a cultural reception, her hand pressed to her chest, eyes crinkled, completely unguarded. The internet absolutely loved it. That image circulated with one caption over and over again: same energy. Then there were the formal portraits, and even those carried warmth. A stunning photograph taken at a state dinner showed Charles and Camilla standing beneath a chandelier, looking at each other rather than the camera. It was private in a very public way. Two people, decades into a love story that was once the most controversial in the world, simply being together in a moment of quiet pride. The tour was not just about ceremony. It was about connection. Photos emerged from community visits, cultural institutions, and grassroots events that showed a side of the monarchy many Americans had never seen. Charles, sleeves rolled up well, metaphorically, this is the king engaged with environmental activists and young sustainability leaders, his passion for the planet never more evident. Camilla visited a local library, and the photograph of her seated among a circle of children, a storybook open in her hands, expression animated as she read aloud. That image spread quietly but powerfully across social media. No fanfare, no press corps crowding in. Just a queen and a group of kids, sharing a story. These were not photo opportunities. These were photographs that happened to be taken. There is a difference. And the camera always knows. Let us not overlook what they wore, because fashion during a royal tour is never accidental. Queen Camilla stepped out in a series of ensembles that beautifully balanced British heritage with nods to American hosts. One photo, a wide-angle shot as she walked through an official garden, captured her in a deep sapphire dress, the American and British flags visible in the background. Symmetry, intention, power. King Charles kept to his signature elegance, tailored suits, that characteristic slight lean when he listens closely to someone speaking to him. There is a photograph, slightly off-center and seemingly candid, of Charles looking out from a balcony over a crowd below. His expression is unreadable, contemplative, kingly, in the truest sense of the word. That photo became an oil painting in people's imaginations. And now, the moment I told you to stay for. Near the end of the tour, at a quiet, semi-private farewell gathering, a photographer captured something that no one on the official press team had staged, planned, or even anticipated. King Charles had his hand resting lightly on the small of Queen Camilla's back. She had turned slightly toward him. Their heads were close, not quite touching, and they were both looking in the same direction, at something just out of frame. They were not posing. They did not know the shutter had clicked. What that photograph showed was not a king and a queen. It showed two people, at the end of a long and extraordinary journey, standing together. Steady. United. Quietly in love. That photograph broke something open in people. Because it reminded us, regardless of where you stand on the monarchy, that behind the crowns and the ceremonies and the centuries of history, there are simply human beings. And sometimes, a single photograph says everything that 1,000 royal portraits never could. That is all for today's Royal Chronicles. If this video moved you, intrigued you, or made you see the royal family in a new light, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below telling me which photo you found most captivating, and subscribe if you haven't already. We will see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay gracious, and as always, long may they reign.